Welcome everyone to the February Zone 34 Public Image webinar. Happy President's Day to everyone. Hope you didn't have to do any banking or expect any mail today, but the rest of us had to work. I know a lot of us had to work. But anyway, hey, I'm Marshall Butler, Zone 34 Public Image Chair or Coordinator for about 3 more months, and then the lady that's going to be presenting tonight is going to take over. That's Susan Corder. Also joining us tonight, we have Kim Walden, our Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator out of South Georgia. And we have Sean Patty, our Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator out of Trinidad. And so welcome to everyone. Got a great webinar tonight, really cool stuff. And it's stuff that, you know, folks always kind of struggle with. What can I do to create content for my website? You know, I don't want to post and ghost. I want to be consistent. I know it's important to post a couple of times a week, or, you know, at least once a week, every week. And so Susan's put together some great content for you. Before we get into that, though, I did want to let you know that the tasks are up all the way through March. So go ahead and work on your public image citation tasks. And we'll be releasing the April task in mid-March. And so the goal is to get the April task up mid-March. And then we're going to have a pretty hard deadline on the April task. I think that's going to be mid-April that we want to get that one completed, because we know a lot of you have district conferences starting in early May, and we want to make sure that we provide all the citations to the district governors for presentation at the conferences. I think, I know 7020, I think, has one the first weekend of May down in St. Croix, and I think, I know 6970 is the second weekend of May, and I know, I guess 6960 is in, what, June, right, Susan? You guys are in June. But anyway, we want to get those citations to everyone so that they can be presented by their district conferences. Joe, I know you guys already did your district conference, so you guys will have to find another occasion to present the citation. You guys did that fun cruise. But anyway, also want to let you know that the next webinar is going to be on March 27th, and we've already added the link to the elevaterotary.org website, so you can go ahead and register for that one. What it's going to be is it's going to be another How the Heck, plus some Canva tips and tricks. Folks are always asking us for those tips and tricks of how to automate processes, or how to use online tools, or how to simplify workflows. And so we're going to do a How the Heck webinar coupled with kind of a Canva redo, where we're going to add, Canva just keeps adding new functionality. And so we're going to hit some of that Canva stuff too in March. So it's going to be March 27th at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can go ahead and register at elevaterotary.org. And it'll be me, Sean Patty, and Michael Wallstrom presenting that. Michael is going to present some cool video hacks that he has come up with to create kind of in the moment, very authentic, very real content that I think you all can find very helpful as you work on your public image strategies. But with that all said, I want to hand it straight off to Susan Corder, the incoming Rotary Public Image Coordinator starting on July 1. She's out of Rotary 6960. The Rotary Club of Lakewood Ranch, and she's put together a great presentation tonight. And so without further ado, I hand it off to you, Susan.
Thanks, Marshall, and thanks everybody for being here tonight on President's Day. We get a lot of requests for various different topics for our webinars, and this is one that came up fairly frequently, so we wanted to make sure that we touched on it. Creating content sometimes can be a little bit challenging. It's you know, easy in some regard, but then it does take time, and just putting together a plan and being aware of all of the tools and resources and just ideas that are available to utilize for curating content can be really helpful. So we kind of balled all of that up into a presentation tonight, and we're going to go through some of these this evening, and hopefully you'll come away with some ideas of things that you can post on your social media. And you don't need to just think about this content for on social media, but think about it for all of your channels that you're speaking to your internal and external audiences. Your newsletter, your website, and other communications that you have, you can utilize some of this content for. So first, I just want you to ask yourself the question, why is it important? You know, I mentioned it does take time to create this content, but why is it important to have good, solid, strong content, predominantly on your social media channels, but on all of your channels? And I'll give you one statistic. This year alone, at the beginning of 2023, there were 4.89 billion users on social media. that's a lot of people, right? So that's worldwide, but still the statistic is it's pretty high. And that just goes to show you that there's a huge audience out there that you could be marketing Rotary to, speaking to about Rotary, sharing your Rotary story to, and bringing them in, engaging them in activities, engaging them in your social media content, and hopefully transforming that into new membership, new sponsors, new partners, new supporters of the foundation and of your project. So it's important because there's a huge audience out there that we need to captivate, we need to capitalize on, and we need to educate them and inspire them about Rotary. And we use these channels and the content that we're publishing on these channels to do just that. So let's talk about the audiences for a minute. When we're talking about our social media audiences, our content audiences, you really need to know who you're speaking to. And I like to divide it up real simple. There's the Rotarians and the non-Rotarians, which I call future Rotarians. There's prospective members. So we have our internal audience that we're talking to, the Rotarians, and I'll give you one example of why it's important to engage with those Rotarians. I mean, they're in your club, right? They know what's going on, but we have a retention problem in Rotary, right? So that's an audience right there that we need to engage with. So when you're publishing content, you're thinking not only about your non-Rotarian audience, but the internal audience. So my example would be a club of 50 has an event coming up, and they publish it on their social media channels, they get the word out, but only 25 of their members show up to the event. So 25 of their members were really heavily engaged in that event, but 25 of their members, half of their club, didn't even attend the event. Maybe some had a scheduling conflict or whatever else, they just didn't feel the need to go or weren't able to go. By following up and publishing information, photos, stories, successes about that event, the Rotarians who are following your social media channels can then engage and really feel a part of the fundraiser or benefit that took place. Then we have our prospective Rotarians, our future Rotarians. They might know what Rotary is, but not really what it does, or maybe they never heard of Rotary before. And through various opportunities, you can engage with these audiences, whether they're friends or followers of your members, or you do some target marketing through Facebook, boosting Facebook posts, whatever it might be, you're engaging with these potential Rotarians. And this is a different audience you need to think about when you're sharing your stories. And we'll talk a little bit more about the why, but just a few things I'm going to touch on really quick before we move on. Keep in mind that when you're engaging with those Rotarians or non-Rotarians, that you need to be offer more education in your post. One tip that I always suggest is when you're posting on social media, think about speaking to non-Rotarians and don't use acronyms. So if you're using DGs in posts, the non-Rotarian doesn't know what a DG is. So spell out district governor. If you're celebrating a Paul Harris Fellow Award, don't use the PHF acronym. Explain what a Paul Harris Fellow is and how it means the strong support of the foundation. So keep in mind the audiences when you're publishing content to your social media channels and through other channels, and understand who you're speaking with and how to carry the message so that it best translates to the entire audience. So when we're looking at content, we want to have a purpose, right? There could be various purposes. Maybe we're having fun, maybe we're promoting an event, but when you start off with any sort of content for your social media channels, you want to understand what your purpose is first. We do a lot of posting on Rotary holidays, membership month, clean water and sanitation month, peace building. We need to make sure we're using the content to educate the audience on what we're doing. So when you're trying to find content, trying to come up with ideas, you can go through these various purposes and say, okay, what kind of content can I use to educate my members or the general public on what Rotary is? What can I use what kind of content can I promote on my social media channels? An easy one would be an upcoming event or fundraiser that you have. Another one could be a membership drive or a social. So there's various events and activities that you can use your social media channels to publish content to promote. We also have entertaining content. I know I do it myself. I'll lay down in bed and I can't sleep, so I'll hop on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. We have people doing this, billions of people doing this, as I told you at the beginning of the webinar, that are joining Facebook, joining Twitter, joining these various social media channels for various reasons, but a large majority of them are looking for entertainment. So sharing videos, posting videos, sharing content that could be very engaging and entertaining is a great way to fill in some of those days where you don't have other content to pull. So look at that as a potential purpose. Inspiration. We post to be inspiring, right? We're Rotarians. We should be posting our stories and posting inspirational messages on a constant basis. And when you're looking at content to post, we have a lot of statistics, and sometimes we fall back into talking about the number of people we helped and the amount of money we raised, and we go back to the numbers, but that's not an inspirational message. When you're posting content, it's okay to share numbers, it's okay to share statistics, but make sure you're creating relevant and inspirational messages that's going to be remembered. It's going to tie people back to you. Other types of content you could post would be newsworthy content. An example of this would be the installation dinner. If you have a turnover of officers, that's newsworthy content. You can do a press release, an article on your website, and you can publish that on your social media channels. Why is it newsworthy? Well, Rotary is a community organization. We have community leaders. So publicizing the celebration of the turnover of new Rotary leaders is absolutely newsworthy, and it fills in your content for that week. So look for various newsworthy opportunities. If you partner with an organization on a project, if you do a Bike Across America or a World Polio Day event, all of that is newsworthy content. So make sure you're using that as content on your social media channels. And at the end of all of this, you want to be sure to have a call to action. What do you want your members to do when they see your social media posts and when they read your messages? Are you looking for them to click here for more information on membership? Are you looking for them to inquire about attending a meeting, an upcoming meeting, to learn more about Rotary? Are you looking for your current members and prospective members to sign up to volunteer for an event or make a donation? So what's your call to action going to be? And make sure you're including that in your post. And if you're using a website or a link, it's great to have it in the actual graphic, but you want to have it in the text as well, so they can hyperlink and go directly to the site that you're directing them to with that call to action. So keep in mind when you're publishing the call to action, you're publishing the various ways that they can navigate there, that you make it as easy as possible for them to do so. So these are a few do's and don'ts for your social media channels. A lot of them might seem obvious, and you say, well, I do this on a regular basis, but it's good to have a reminder. So the first do up here is get visual, and what that means is just try to have a visual component with all of your content versus, even if it's a meeting change, we're not meeting here today, we're meeting somewhere else. You can do a cute little video on, or at least add some animation through a Canva post versus just typing the text in that we're having a meeting change location. If you are, celebrating birthdays, have some photos of the members that you're celebrating versus just listing them in a post. Always try to have some sort of visual component with your content. Tags and mentions. If you're inducting a new member or recognizing a partner in an event, a sponsor an event, make sure you're tagging them or mentioning them in the post. And just a quick check, make sure you're tagging the right page. It's always good to ask the sponsor of the business or organization that you're partnering with what their social media channels are, in case they have multiple or maybe old inactive ones. Make sure you're tagging the right page, but at the least, just do that. Make sure you're tagging them so that you get the benefit as well as them, and they like to have the opportunity to be recognized as well. Share and like post. So we're going to talk a little bit later about different channels that you can look at, different pages you can look at to seek out content so that you're not generating everything from scratch. But sharing and liking posts is a huge way to stay engaged in what's going on in other clubs and other organizations, as well as expand the reach of your own content. Respond timely. Again, this might sound like something obvious, but it's easy to let fall by the wayside. If you're posting a lot, and hopefully you'll become regular if you aren't already after this content webinar by having more information and more ideas. But if you're posting a lot on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and people are responding and interacting, and then they get no response from you, then they can lose interest or get frustrated. It's just a poor reflection. So make sure that you're responding timely. If they ask questions, you're answering the questions. It's really good to have several people assisting and monitoring the pages so that you can keep up to date and keep current with everyone that's posting. And sometimes you have those, I don't know that we call them spammers, but you have posts that you don't necessarily want up on your page. And a lot of clubs have their page open so that any member can post to it, but you also have to monitor what's going on the page because you don't want anything negative, and you don't want, we've had people trying to sell on my club event page, trying to sell tickets or resell tickets, and they're scammers. So you have to be really careful about keeping up with anything like that and blocking them for any future potential scams. Create a calendar. If you are keeping up with the public image citation task, this is one of the tasks early on, and it's something that it takes a little bit of time, but it's well worth it. And we'll talk a little bit more in this webinar about what type of content you can put on the calendar, but sitting down and just going month by month and having specific information that you're going to drop each month is really helpful, and it will save you time and keep you active on your social media channels down the road. Some things not to do: don't write your dissertation on your Facebook post. Just keep it short, simple, concise. Keep a message that people will engage in and remember. Don't forget to give credit if someone sponsors an event, or if you have a member that works really hard to raise funds or organize an event, make sure you're giving them credit and tagging them in the post when you're doing a shout out about all of the great things your club did with that event or activity. Make sure you're giving credit. Also with sponsors, if you have sponsors for an event, social media is a great way to show your thanks to them. Being a ghost is really exactly what we just said about responding timely. But there's also some clubs out there who have multiple Facebook pages or multiple Instagram accounts, and one of them has kind of gone dormant. And just do a quick check. And if you're new to your social media channels and you're not real sure, just do a Google search for your club, and you'll see some of those older channels pop up, and just try to get those offline as quick as possible so that people are engaging with the right pages. Don't have typos, just proofread your work and proofread your posts before you make them live. And you can always do a QA check on other members of your club that are posting. If maybe they did something in a rush and you see an error, just go in and edit it yourself. And I don't think I have to tell anyone on this call tonight not to be negative, but make sure that if members have free reign to post comments and share information on your pages, that they're all being positive and putting your club and Rotary and your district in the best light. Use the hashtag Rotary Shares. So we talked a little bit about the content calendar. These are some of the things that I would recommend you go in right away either now for the rest of the year, but especially coming up on July 1st, you have your content calendar in place with all of the Rotary monthly observances, the holidays, anything that Rotary celebrates. We have a Rotary birthday coming up here on the 23rd. Schedule those posts out in advance. I think Facebook lets you schedule them out 70 or 75 days in advance. So you can sit down and plan out your content calendar and go in and schedule those posts ahead of time and not have to worry about them again. You can also schedule out your meeting changes. So if your club meets on the fifth Thursday or the fifth week of the month somewhere else besides the club meeting, schedule that out and say, hey, we're not going to be meeting at the country club this week. We're going to be meeting, at XYZ to do a project. You can schedule that out in advance as well. But I do caution you, if you schedule those type of meeting changes in advance, just keep in mind that you did schedule them in advance. And if another change happens between now and the meeting, you need to make sure to update that post so it doesn't go live with the wrong information. And you can do that with speakers too, programs and events. If you want to schedule out your speakers because you have them lined up for the month, go ahead and schedule them. Don't forget to tag their organizations that they're with. And those will be ready to go and drop on the day that you select. But again, if anything changes, just be cognizant of that you need to go back and make the proper edits. And we all like holiday greetings. There's a lot of holidays and your Rotary Club might not choose to send out greetings for all of them. President's Day, for example, but for the holidays, you can schedule those in advance and just have that content ready to go. And it's something else that the audiences can engage in. It's really fun too to do polls or, post photos and ask for captions. Make sure after the holidays too, you share any photos and updates on the events that took place. But these are some of the main things that I would suggest you taking back to your content calendar and getting on there immediately. And if you need sample content calendars, I have those. I can send you a sample calendar for the year that I've put together for a club and a district that might be helpful for you to utilize as a reference. And then you can go in and fill it in with all of your club events and activities and anything else that you might feel pertinent. And you don't have to stick to your content calendar. It's a good guideline, but you can go off course and add to it and change it and update it throughout the year. But just having the structure of it in advance, it will really help alleviate some of your the time that you're going to spend doing your posts and scheduling out throughout the year. So now we're going to talk about creating content, right? Creating cool content. What are some of the things that you can post about? Members, awards, and inductions. That's always a given. If you celebrate something at your club, celebrate it on your social media channels too. Everybody in the club likely has a smartphone to take a picture. So there's no reason why you can't have a photo of every single member induction, every single award that's given out. And if you use Canva, which I use Canva and I have on my phone, I have a lot of templates in the app. And when I go to my club meetings, if we have a celebration, I'll show you the template in just a minute, but I'll take a picture right then and at the table, download the picture or upload it to Canva into the template and share it on social media. It takes less than 5 minutes to do all of that, and you have your content for the day. And you've recognized those individuals who are receiving the awards or the recognitions. In the news, anything that you see relevant that's newsworthy, as I mentioned before, you can create content for that. You can also share and post Rotary related press release articles that are online. If the press covers one of your events and they publish that on their website, then share it directly from their page. They usually have automatic share links for all of the social media channels. So make sure you're sharing that. And they're kind of doing a lot of the work for you by creating the content online. All you have to do is grab it and reshare it to your page. So always be looking out for that if you know that your PI team is working with the media to get coverage on various activities and events. Quotes are always fun. You can find quotes from Paul Harris, Art Klump. It doesn't have to be a Rotarian. It could be someone in your club. It could be a leader. Just quotes are always really fun. Inspirational quotes. Those are fine to post on your Rotary page and tie it back and make it relevant to something in your club. If it's a strong leadership quote, talk about how Rotary helps cultivate leaders. If it's an inspirational quote, talk about that in your post. Meet the team is a really great one. I think this is often overlooked. We have a lot of we're all volunteers, and we have a lot of people in our club that deserve to be recognized, both internally and externally. I know in my club, I think we're up to 24 committees. And it's just the Veterans Committee, the Human Trafficking Committee. We have committee chairs for all of those committees. And, you know, being a large club, not all the members of the club know who the committee chairs are. So we have a Meet the Team series where we introduce every week a leader in the club, and it could be the president one week, or it could be a committee chair. But Meet the Team is a great source of content, and it also makes that Rotarian feel special, feel recognized. Testimonials are another great source of content. It could be testimonials from just a happy member. Why did you join Rotary? What's your favorite thing about Rotary? Giving their testimonial. Or it could be a testimonial from a sponsor of an event. Why did you sponsor our event, and what did you get out of it? And again, the testimonial, the person that's giving the testimonial feels it's very well received with them. They feel proud and happy to support the organization, and you have that content in turn. And then videos and live streams. Rotary International has a plethora of videos that you can pull from their social media channels. RI President Jennifer Jones loves making videos. I see videos that she posts on Rotary social media channels on a regular basis. Those are great opportunities and so easy to just grab it and reshare it to your club or district page. It takes very little time, and it's really good quality, and it creates that content for your social media channels. And that's what they're there for. They're there to engage and educate and inspire, but they're also there for you, for your taking. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for those and sharing those videos. And the live streams would just be, if you're live streaming any special event or activity, you can live stream that on your Facebook page as well. So I'm going to go through a few examples of the previous content that we talked about. This is an example of Meet the Team, where we had a picture of Vivian here, my dear friend, and this is from the Rotary Works team, but you can do this from your club, you can do it from an event committee, whatever it is, just create the template, then you have it there, and all you have to do is update the photo and the title, the content. So this is an example of the Meet the Team, and then you would post this, but also have a little bit of text that would accompany it, and maybe a description, a little bit more of the description of the organization, the team that Vivian's on. What is Rotary Works, and what's the website to learn more information? So this would be the graphic, and then have a little bit of a text to accompany it. This is from my club. This is a friend of mine at her induction, and I won't say the video or the photos are the best quality, but again, this was content that took less than 5 minutes from the design to updating it to getting it live on the social media channels, because of the template that was already saved in Canva. So you can create a template like this and have it on your phone at the ready, and then just take a few photos at the meeting, upload them, update the name, and post it. Make sure you're tagging the members and tagging the sponsors in the post as well. But that's content right there that you have available. And like I said, it's quick and easy to do. You don't have to worry about putting it on your checklist to do down the road. Just do it right there at the meeting. And you can, if you have someone on your public image team, or even someone in the club who wants to get a little bit more involved with your social media channels, but isn't really sure, doesn't know a lot about it, this is a great way to onboard them, because the process is so simple. It's really hard to mess up. Just an example of a club celebration. So, you know, this Rotary Club turned 100 members strong, so it's a great celebration to announce on social media. Every Rotarian every year, if you have 100% Paul Harris Fellow Club, the various levels of foundation giving for clubs, those are great celebrations, and it provides you with a good opportunity to educate your non-Rotarian audience on what a Paul Harris Fellow Club is, or E-Ray Club is, what the foundation is. So think about all of the celebrations your club has that you can turn into social media content. This is an example of a testimonial for Rotary Leadership Institute. You can really do this for you know, any program that your club has, or if you have members that attend RLI, bring them back to the club and ask them what they got out of it, ask them what they learned from it, and celebrate it. And they'll enjoy giving the testimonial and the recognition, and you'll have content. And you can do that again for your sponsors. Interview your sponsors at an event, take their photo with some of the other Rotarians and recognize them in a testimonial. Rotary observances, I touched on that. There's a calendar on Rotary International's website that tells you what they celebrate every month, and other important observances as well, when the conferences are coming up, when trainings are coming up, but more importantly, when we celebrate our areas of focus and activities that are associated around those. And what better opportunity than a post like this to educate people on what Rotary is doing to eradicate polio from the planet. And just because you do it one year doesn't mean you can't do it the next year or even months down the road. So keep that in mind. Not your entire audience isn't going to see the post from 3 months ago, but they might see it today. So even if you posted something similar on World Polio Day, go back now and post, make another post on content that's relative to that or other areas of focus. And this would be an example of a great picture for call to action, a great post for call to action. We have what's called the People of Action campaign. The People of Action campaign has a plethora of Facebook posts and designs that are there ready for you, images and all. All you have to do is download them from the Brand Center. There's also a few templates. A Facebook post template is one of them, and this is where this post was generated from. You just grab a picture of one of your events or projects, put it into the People of Action template in the Brand Center, select your action verb, boom, you got it. Download it and post it with your call to action. And that's really one of the best ways to share your story, is let others know that Rotarians are people of action. When you're looking at doing these posts, when you're looking for content, try to find content that shares your stories in a powerful way, an impactful way, but also shows that Rotarians are people of action. The still pictures are fine. I know sometimes we can't get away from the still and pose pictures, and it's still good content to have, but great content really, really shares the story. And it's important to use our social media channels to share our Rotary stories. You know, as I mentioned before, we don't just want to talk about the facts and, you know, talk about how many members we have and how much money we raise. We want to talk about the amazing youth exchange students that we help foster, the future leaders. We want to talk about, you know, the 100,000 meals that we packed, but more importantly, look at how much fun we had doing it and the communities that benefited. So there's a great opportunity to share your Rotary stories through these social media channels. And those are absolutely the most impactful, the best content you can have. And videos are a great way to do that too. So keep that in mind. The nice thing about videos to keep in mind, just like photos, is you can do a retake. If you take a photo and it's bad, you can take it again. If you create a short video, a 30-second or 60-second video, and you don't like it, just take it again and make sure it shares the story in the most impactful way. So when you're sharing your stories, keep these 3 things in mind. Show the people that you've helped. Show if you have the opportunity, or someone in your club has the opportunity to travel to visit the community that was benefited from a global grant project, have them take photos of that community and those individuals that you helped. Show the people who are involved, show the engineers, show the community members that you train to use the clean water and sanitation system. Show those individuals that were involved in the project, Rotarians and non-Rotarians alike. And I keep going back to the sponsors, because we're always trying to develop and cultivate new relationships with sponsors and donors and partners. And sharing their stories and getting them engaged with on our content is a really great way to develop those relationships and make them solid long-term. And if you are going to show numbers, as I keep saying, don't just share statistics, but there's statistics on the screen here. Show them in a compelling way. Show photos around them versus just listing the numbers all alone. And then show Rotarians that Rotarians are people of action. And the posts that you're sharing, make sure you recognize that we are people of action. And this is why you want to join Rotary. This is why you want to be a part of our organization, because we are people of action. We get things done in our community and around the world. And if you share your content in an impactful way and carry that message along that we're people of action, I guarantee that people are going to want to be a part of this organization. There's not, people don't attend events and not want to support the cause that they're giving money to. So if you host an anti-human trafficking event, chances are that most people there want to support that cause. And if they don't know that Rotary organized it and Rotary put that on, and then how to get in contact with you, they're not going to be able to continue to support you in that capacity, and you could be losing out on potential members. So identifying Rotary, and we're talked briefly about branding your content, that's a really important part of sharing it as well. So I love memes. I think they're hilarious. I think some of these are really funny. I've seen some really good ones on Rotary pages. I just wanted to throw this slide in there because it's kind of a gray area. And I mean, if you ask me, in all honesty, I think using memes are totally okay in Rotary. Where you really need to be careful is the copyrighted material. And not just with memes, but with photos. If photos that you're pulling on for your posters and your social media posts are copyrighted, then you need to maybe shy away from using them. There's plenty of free available content for you to utilize. In Canva, there's a huge gallery of photos, of images that you can utilize. Same with on Google. But again, using memes, I think where we get into the challenging area is if you're using it for proprietary content. If you're trying to make money off of the meme itself, that's where you can come into some issues. Using fun, silly meme content like this, I think is just another great way to engage your audiences. But just be cognizant of that. If you're grabbing photos or copying things from the internet, just keep an eye out on what's copyrighted material and what's allowable to use, and the way that you're using it. What if you have creative block? Have you ever tried to post something on social media and you retype the sentence 3 or 4 times and you just can't come up with it? Or try to come up with your content for the next couple of weeks and you can't think of anything? We say R&D. It's okay to Rotary rip off and duplicate. It's okay to go to other club pages, other club channels, and peruse them and find content that you like and is relevant to your page and reshare it. There is no problem doing that. Rotary International has content you can use. We have some great resources at the zone level that you can utilize. And a lot of other clubs have great content too. So share that back and forth. Spend a little bit of time going through your social media channels and seeing who your suggested followers would be. So who are other pages, other clubs and other organizations that they think you should follow, and then see if you think relevant content could come of that. Rip off and duplicate it. As long as you're giving credit to those who created it, especially if it's images that are really great graphic design posts, make sure you're giving credit to the author of those. But it's totally okay to use that as content on your social media channels as well. And just be aware that once you get really good at sharing amazing content, other people are probably going to rip off your stuff too. And you should be proud of that. So here's some channels that the zone has that you need to check out. We have a brand new Facebook page that was launched this month, Zone 3334. So check that out. We have a ton of Facebook groups that I'll list on the next slide. We have an Instagram page, Twitter, coming soon to LinkedIn. If you haven't been to elevaterotary.org, I really don't know how you found out about this webinar or the public image citation task. That's where we house everything. So go to elevaterotary.org and check out all of the tasks, check out all of the upcoming webinars. But then we also have a catalog of recorded webinars that you can go back in and look at the various topics and see if there's something that's of interest to you. And maybe your next public image committee meeting, you encourage people to watch one of those videos, encourage some of your team members to find a topic that could help educate them and do their job better on your team, and watch one of those webinars. But go on our pages and find some content there, and we're completely happy and proud if you want to reshare any of it to your pages. Some of the groups that we have available or that we've released are listed up here. We have various groups that you can interact with on the Zone 3334 Facebook channels, and we encourage you to go and get content from these as well. We're sharing content on everything from the foundation to empowering girls to membership minutes to definitely public image. And then we have some posts that we're looking for clubs of action and districts of action. So we're resharing that content on our Facebook page as well, just recognizing clubs for doing a really stellar job. And we want to see you highlighted there. So interact with our pages and let us know what you're doing by sharing great content on your social media channels and interacting with our social media team as well. And, you know, I'm kind of wrap up with some reminders from the Brand Center. We want you to get creative with your posts, you know, use some exciting graphics, use some great videos, but don't get creative with the Rotary logo. We have brand standards in place to maintain the integrity of our brand. And we do that so we can best present Rotary in a great light, but also have a powerful brand. And we're trying to educate more people on what Rotary is, and by using the right branding and not you know, using the logo inappropriately, we can really strengthen that message. These are some inappropriate uses of the Rotary logo. Do not use the wheel as a bike tire, a 0 and a number, or an O in a word. Do not use it as eyes on your jack-o'-lantern or eyes on any other figure. And don't throw a bunch of memorabilia or other content around the Rotary wheel. The Rotary wheel should now only be used by itself if the Rotary master brand is appropriately used in the vicinity. So we're trying to get away, clubs and districts, away from creating their own, again, very creative logo, but using the logo improperly. Jennifer Jones recently sent out a letter to the district public image chairs talking about one global voice and strengthening our brand. And so this message is carried from the top down. It's carried from our RI president all the way down to the zone, to the district public image chairs who talk about this on a constant basis, to the club level. We want every club to carry a consistent message. These are some examples of what the club logos Rotaract and Interact should look like. And just, again, it's a message of having a unified message, carrying voice and visual identity guidelines, having a strong, powerful message. Rotarians are people of action. We have a strong, powerful brand, and that will make our organization thrive long term. And it was about a decade ago that the new Rotary logo, I say new with quotes because it was a decade ago when it was released. Rotary International the leaders conducted an in-depth research, a study to better understand how the public viewed Rotary. Who knows about Rotary? What do they know about Rotary? And we learned that we need to reposition our brand and focus on a clear, consistent message. So let's have a unified message, voice and visual guidelines. And that's when they came up with the new, again, 10 years ago, Rotary logo. And if you look at the Rotary Club of Winnipeg, that's what every club logo should look like. If you look at the Rotary District 6960, that's what every district logo should look like. So you should have the Rotary Master Brand, which is Rotary with the wheel, and the club logo in the center of the page as the regular master brand with the trademark. The one at the bottom with the district is the simplified version where it doesn't have Rotary International in the center of the wheel, but it has the district and again the clubs underneath the Rotary. Now, if your club is Winnipeg Rotary Club, if that's the official name, there's options in the brand center to place Winnipeg above Rotary and then club at the bottom. But I'd say the majority of Rotary clubs, the official charter name is Rotary Club of, which is how it should be written, how the signature should appear on the Rotary logo. So again, make sure you're following the brand guidelines. Don't get cute and clever with the logo, just get cute and clever with all your other graphics. And if you ever have questions on the brand center, that's a whole nother topic we can get a lot more in depth about. But if you have questions on a flyer you created or a logo that you downloaded, is it right or is it not? Is it following brand standards? You can ask anyone on the Zone 34 public image team to look at your content, and we'd be happy to let you know. We're not Rotary police, we're coaches, we're brand coaches. We're here to help you learn how to properly use the logo. And I see many of you already are, and you're doing a fantastic job. But if you ever have a question about it, please feel free to reach out and let us know. A couple of things just to remember. Don't forget about your public image citation task. As Marshall mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, we have February, March available, and April will be coming soon. So go ahead and get those submitted, and make sure you stay on track to earn your public image citation for the club, because we know you're working really hard this year and you deserve the recognition. So get those public image tasks completed. We have the March webinar coming up on the 27th, and on another version 2 on how to use Canva and other how the heck do you do that topics or content. And then we have the April boot camp, public image boot camp. And this comes at a great time because we have the transition into the new leadership for the July 1st Rotary year. So if your club public image team is staying the same and cruising right along into the next year, that's great. The boot camp will be just a couple of reminders. But if you have new public image chairs, district or club public image chairs that are coming on board, or new team members, the boot camp is a really great educational tool for them.
And we have our zone seminar coming up too.
We have our zone seminar. Yes, we have that coming up the last weekend of June in Jacksonville. So if there's any district leaders on the call tonight who haven't registered, make sure you sign up soon for that. I think I have one more. Yeah, nope. Here's a little plug for our.
How the heck do you do that?
Our seminars or our next webinars. So I'm going to stop this and just ask if anybody has any questions on content, branding, anything we covered tonight, or dare I say anything else?
Susan, I think you did a great job. I mean, just going over the various kinds of content, the content that every club has. I mean, every club has the content that you mentioned, and it's just, it becomes just a matter of how do we capture it, how do we present it, and how do we present it in the best light. So really well done. Yeah, I think you did a great job with that. So with that, any questions from the group? Anything that you want to ask Susan or any of the other folks on the team? I did drop our email address in the chat. We are always available to review your use of the brand. We get that periodically, and we are always happy to help out with that. So be sure to send us a design. Someone, Siobhan from 6890, she's wrapping her car. And she was about to do a couple of things that were going to be a no-no, and we fixed it. One of them was going to be, she was going to crop the mark of excellence. She was going to have a partial mark of excellence. And so be sure to share those. We'll be happy to help you out with that. But any questions for Susan?
Thank you guys for your time, and hopefully you found some of it helpful. Just, remember there's always a lot of great content out there. Just yeah, we want to see the car wrap.
Yeah, no, I think
The
she
next webinar.
she put it on Miata, so it should be, or it was a little Z34, a little BMW, I think. So that'd be cool. So you did mention Zone Seminar. You did mention that the past webinars are all on elevaterotary.org. Go there and check out the resources that we have. We'll be getting this slide deck, the slide deck that Susan prepared. We'll put that up on elevaterotary.org. Should be in the next day or two. Plus, we'll get the follow-up email out with the a copy of the recording to everyone. As well as get a copy of the recording up to our channel for past webinars, so you'll be able to see all that. But with that, I do want to thank you all for participating and joining us tonight. Be sure to register for the next webinar, which is going to be March 27th. You can do that at elevaterotary.org. Continue to follow your tasks and get those submitted. And we look forward to seeing you all at the next webinar. Thanks for joining us all tonight, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Take care, everyone.